All right. I think that should be live. I think there's like a 25-second delay or something like that. So I think I see Mr. Beastie is already up in here. Oh, we got old Stabby Pin herself in the mix. What up? Hey, girl. I brought like my own little earthenware ish kind of cup. So I figured that was like the closest I could get to some smileys. So, yeah, no, impromptu. I was supposed to be doing, well, I guess let me first say welcome to, I guess this is the second episode of the Malazcast. So I figured because I was supposed to be doing the 10 very big books podcast today, and we were going to be talking about like memories of ice and all the good stuff, and I think it's going to be a spoilery one that we're going to ultimately do, but we're not going to record that now until next week on Friday. And so I figured, what the heck, we're in quarantine mode here in California, so might as well kill the Friday night at Smiley's and just chat about the Mage brackets and whatever else comes up. So, what up, BC? Oh, we got Trebor in here. Cool. Awesome, guys. So, yeah, I figured we could just go through the brackets and see. And I think I did figure out how to. And I don't know if you guys are impressed. I'm super impressed with myself because I was able to like get that intro to roll with the music, and that gave me like the 35 seconds to make sure that I was live and that everything was working. So yeah, it was it was pretty big success from my standpoint because last time it was just a comedy of errors in terms of getting it working and just all the technological shenanigans. So let me pull up my chat window so I can actually see. Oh, Trevor's about to start Bonehunters. That's a good one, dude. That's going to be a super fun book. I'm really enjoying the beginning and just being back at the beginning of the reread and like trying to really go slow and like soak everything in. But part of me is also like really excited to get to the later stuff. I totally, not to get super sidetracked right off the bat, but I totally kind of lose track of where stuff is. So like I actually through this channel found out about the Malazan Facebook group and Reddit too, which I wasn't on before. Actually, if I would have known about those, I might not have ever even started a channel because I only went to the forum and that kind of had died down a bit recently. But the Facebook group and the Reddit are both super active. But people are like, oh, remember in like Reaper's Gale and this and that, and like I read mostly on the Kindle, and so I have the 10 book of the Fallen bundle. And so for me, that it all just seems like one big giant book, and I don't have the the frame of reference when people are like, you remember that one thing in Reaper's Gale, and I'm like, and then I got to go back and actually like look to see what they're talking about, and it's like I know what they're talking about, but I don't have it broken up in distinctive books. I think that's one of the benefits of picking it up after it's already done. Although you kind of do miss out on the time of you know reading it kind of concurrently and having that anticipation for the book and stuff like that. But personally, I'm overwaiting. I'm impatient, so I'm glad not to have that. But let's see if I can pull up the Mage bracket really quick to see what it looks like. I'm really surprised to see. Let me see. Did it go? It's gonna be like super Inception mode for a second while I pull this up. Um, let's see. This should be showing. And actually, let me do this. That way I can see the chat and I'll know if my thing, right? This is like super gnarly in what I'm working with and why it's so hard to do. not being a technology guru. All right, can you guys see that? You should be able to. The problem is it's like I'm sharing my screen, so I can't go back and see if it looks right, because if I do, then it'll go back to that like crazy Inception view of it all. So let me know in the chat if it's showing up. But yeah, I'm really surprised how many votes we actually got in on all these. I thought maybe only on my phone it shows me. Let me pull it up on my phone too, so that way I can just get the actual counts for this. Because there was like, I was thinking maybe like, 20 people or something would vote, and I've purposely not been voting because I was like, oh, I want to be the tiebreaker in case any of these are like super close or whatever, and none of them, like, there's so many people voting that my vote is worthless essentially, but I'm still going to save them to the end. I'm just trying to pull up the numbers so I can actually see how many voted. Oh yeah, cool. So on here I can see it, so hopefully, oh no, you can see it on some of them, like Bad Dell. Oh no, yeah, you can see it on here. Okay, cool. So yeah, this first one, and then I finally stepped up my game and wrote bigger descriptions. But I was actually really surprised how many people like stuck up for Ebron, because I don't know, I kind of had him going down fairly easily. But 127 people voted, 2/3 almost gave it to Bedell, and so that one, a lot of these were pretty decisive, like 2/3 to 1/3. If you think about what she does, I'm surprised it wasn't more of a blowout, because she's just kind of a kid essentially, right? Or like a young person who like doesn't even fully, have matured into all the crazy stuff that she's capable of. So let me see if my chat froze. Let me go over here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys can't see it. Awesome. All right. Yeah, she's like I don't remember exactly how old. Did I write it down? I think she's like teens, if that. Poor Ebron, and he does some decent accolades in the book, but I think that again, he had a lot of years on him in terms of, especially in the field, years and experience with some pretty bad dudes. So he went down hard either way. And then I tried to step up my game in the second match. Oh, we got Devin Green up in here. What up, dude? Welcome. Time is it? 10 after. Yeah, so I just did this totally impromptu at the last minute, because I figured, what the heck, I had this time carved out to be Malazan time anyway, so we can talk about whatever. I'm recording multiple Deadhouse Gates, and I'm trying to get more chapters crammed into each video, because I realized, like, it's just a function of the time to record and edit, and I don't want them to be garbage, so then I take too much time editing. And so it was just going to take forever. And then I started like adding up the chapters and just doing the actual math on how long everything is going to take. And I'm like, it's going to take about 5.5 years if I go chapter by chapter and can only do like 1 or 2 a week. And so I'm going to try and cram more in. They might be a little bit longer, like 20-25 minutes, but I figure you guys can watch them in, 7-10 minute chunks if you want, and watch them over a couple days, or take the whole thing down. But then that way we can progress through a little quicker, because the other thing is, I didn't realize how much time this bracket was going to take. So, even just like, I want it to be a little bit funner than just saying, here's 2 names, vote. And so that's why I've been trying to like step up the actual posts themselves and get some information in there, especially for people who may be early on in the books and not have it be like super spoilery. So somebody actually did ask if I could make like the descriptions a lot more substantial, and I want to do that and probably beef some more of them up a little bit, just that way it's like a little fun thing in the morning or whatever. But then, I don't want it to be too spoilery, but I do want to just like give like here's a broad overview of who this person is, or like one quick fact or something like that. So, oh, cool, yeah. So I love Mike's book reviews too. So I think that personally it works for me because like you can really like take how many ever that really run together as an arc and kind of hit the highs and lows and then have some discussion and whatever on it. So I think I will give that a shot and see how it goes. The only thing is, if you look at my analytics, the the duration that people watch for is like 8 minutes, but I'm just like, I'm over trying to go by the analytics. People are like, oh, you got to look at the analytics and do all that stuff. I'm just going to make what I hope is a good video, and then hopefully that will be good for you guys, because I got to entertain myself too, ultimately. So that will be the kind of modus operandi, but I also want to be able to do some of this other stuff on the side, because this bracket has been super fun, right? And like waking up in the morning and like 150 people, because I set these to go at 3 a.m. my time, because I have a big chunk of people who are outside the United States, which is why the stream has like barely anybody on here, is because the hardcore diehards seem to be in another country, so they're missed. But also it's cool with having stuff kind of, you wake up and there's like 150 people who voted, or like the Baruch versus Tattersale round 2, which, come on dude, that's a pretty gnarly bracket, but 201 votes on that. So my kind of dreams of being the one to swoop in and do some tie breaks tonight, like in the video, and like push one mage over the top or not, is pretty much quashed. So but that in a good way, right? Because it means like people are obviously like having fun. I think it's fun just to nerd out and see what people, who people like, and it is in part a popularity contest. But as much as people kind of have kind of made comments about it being just a popularity contest, I do think that you could make a case for the ones even where it was just a true, popularity thing. Like, so in this second round, 201 votes, Tattersale got 63, almost 2/3. 2 out of 3 votes went to Tattersale against Baruch. And my justification there, and I probably honestly would have gone Tattersale too. And because the reason for me, and I can't speak for all these 2/3 of people who voted, but she unleashes some pretty gnarly stuff that we see. Point number one, in when Beludrin comes after her, and even to the point where like Tool is like, whoa, that's gnarly, that the crazy column of fire, and the ritual obviously is like a crazy thing that not a lot of people had seen. So it was pretty gnarly. And on top of that, you have like Taishran. She was also the head of the cadre mages, right? So she had to have been at least a pretty gnarly badass. But then if you go to Taishran's like ultimate plan, and I don't want to get super duper spoily up in this thing, unless you ask me to, because I don't know where everybody's at in their reading, but he had plans for her, meaning that he had some, high degree of confidence in her. And then also, if you go back to the Path to Ascendancy stuff, and you see what she did when she was actually Mock's girlfriend back in the day. She was responsible for some pretty gnarly stuff. So, oh yeah, I see. Trebor asked about Krupp being a god. I don't honestly do not know what Krupp is. I think I don't know, because I also, so that's the other thing. When I was putting together this bracket, I actually went and looked up, is Krupp, trying to find out information like for his Warren, so I could put it in the write-up, because I was saying like, oh, using the Driss Warren or whatever, and, it doesn't really say what Warren, like Quick Ben, it talks about his 7 different Warrens that he fires open at the end of Gardens of the Moon, etc. You kind of know. I guess, yeah. Omi says Makra, and I didn't see Omi in here. What up, dog? I don't know if it was pure illusion, like what, that he wasn't, that he like made it seem like he was really standing there when he was like 5-10 feet away or something like that. Omi, maybe that could definitely be the case, but it's not explicit. He definitely is smart. Erickson said. And I think there's a quote out there talking about how, he's him, Quick Ben, and Tahol are like the 3 smartest people in the entire world. And then there's also that video where he says that Krupp is like the most just powerful character in the world, straight up. So, yeah. I don't know. I think Omi could be right on Makra. He has some kind of like a elder god connection, right? Because he's homies with Krull, and he's able to pull Raced into his dream where he didn't have a lot of power, and just like he does like the strategic aspects and all of that. So I don't know if he's a god yet. I could see him being more like a Taishren type where he ultimately like ascends, but I think he's probably just like a couple 100-year-old dude who's like been running the show in Darujistan. That's kind of my take on it, but I think he'll ascend eventually somehow, right? Or he just straight up will never get killed or whatever, so he'll be out there doing his thing. But yeah, with Tattersail winning, I think that's where I'd go. Even though Baruch is kind of undoubtedly ridiculously powerful, and we know that because he's running like the Tarud Cabal. But we also know it from, and I don't remember exactly which one of the books. I think it was Reaper's Gale, or even Toll the Hounds, maybe. But he does a lot of gnarly stuff later on, stuff that actually, and again, I don't want to be too spoilery for anybody who's not all the way through, but trying to think of how I want to say this, but who think he shouldn't have been qualified to even be in the competition, and therefore should have crushed Tattersail. But I don't count Sail out. She's a G, and I think she probably could have pulled this one off on the merits alone, and not just purely based on popularity. So she's just one of my favorite characters. So even if she does win on popularity, she was kind of a badass, and I just like the way that she carried herself, and wish we could have seen a lot more of her. Actually, I'm hoping that we can see more of her in the upcoming Witness stuff, because yeah, see, so Ruth Ann said he's not sold on Sail being strong enough to do it. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, and I'm with you, and I cannot hate on that, and I think that that's valid criticism, because he is gnarly, and if you look at what not just the stuff that he does later in the books, but what it takes to yeah, I don't know how to not spoil this, but let's just say he's not easy to take down, I guess is a good way. With that doesn't give too much away. That, I fully respect that. And, also we see how gnarly like Mamat is, Darudin, right, who was like kind of holding her own for maybe like 50-45 seconds against Raced with Quick Ben, but she was pretty gnarly, and Quick Ben kind of acknowledged that she was pretty G'd up. But my point being that all these like top dogs of the Tarud Cabal and Vorkin definitely respected, and we know that they are all pretty G'd up. So yeah, no, I respect that. I get that. He's definitely a badass. I think he's got like a couple thousand years on her too. So you can't just say. And one of my arguments for Tattersail too was that she's like a full-time cadre mage who's out there essentially like fighting wars like for the last like 100 years or whatever that she's been in the part of the Empire, or whenever she got back after Path to Ascendancy stuff. And so he has, like, if we're talking about experience, he's got tons of experience himself. So yeah, I feel you. It's not an easy one to call. All I'm saying is I think there's an argument to be made for her that I think is beyond just like the popularity thing, but I think it's definitely a gray area, and a strong case could be made for Baruch. So let's go to third round matchup, which was the Battle of Chaos, right? So we have Yathengar versus Hairlock, and this one I thought was also very controversial. And obviously there's people who just like Hairlock's kind of like the Calor of mages. He's like that mage that you love to hate, kind of, and everybody just like, he's a good villain, you know what I mean? And the fact that he becomes like a wooden puppet and all that. But we had 160 people, so not as many people were excited about the matchup with Hairlock and Yathengar. But Hairlock freaking lit it up. So even actually by a bigger margin than Tattersail actually beat Baruch. So 2/3 exactly to 1/3. So yeah, it was pretty decisive. When you look at Yathengar, he does yeah. Ruthann says insanity versus madness. I think that's an apt description. So, but he was no slouch. I could have easily seen, like, I thought this was one that I could have potentially came in and tie broken it on for Hairlock. Honestly, that's who I was gonna go for too, just because he's a favorite, and I think he's a well written villain, and he was fun to read, and kind of, dude, he just seems like such a little shit. I had in my casting video Michael Keaton as the Hairlock character, and I don't know if you, however old you are, maybe you haven't seen the like old school Michael Keaton Batman, but he would have just been he has that kind of like, nuts, you want to come at me, let's get nuts, and it's he would be just like perfect for that, and just shave his head and just looks all crazy. Even the picture I used in the casting. So but he was already like a formidable mage in his own right, before all this, his deal with Chaos essentially, and Kamenzad and all that stuff. So hey William, what up, man? Welcome. No worries, good to have you. And I saw all the comments. So then, yeah, so not to get totally off track again, but just thinking about like the squeezing more chapters in and stuff like that, to go off on an aside for a second. One of the reasons is because I want to like keep this going, and it's just like time consuming to post all the community posts every day, have the write up, like look up where everybody's from, look up and remind myself like what Warren everybody has, and come up with some like fun fact about these obscure mages who got chucked in or whatever. But also, it's getting to the point where I'm struggling to keep up on all the different like communication. So I'm trying to make sure I get back to you guys on the comment section, and also in the Discord, and make sure that that I'm staying up to date, because that's actually like my favorite place to go now. I'm gonna try and point everybody to the Discord, because that's like such an awesome. We just get such good dialogue going in there, and it's fun, and it's like spontaneous, and just like stuff comes up, or like people are reading, and we have a channel for all the different book stuff, and people will, you know, be reading and like pop in stuff, and then we all kind of like get to chime in there. So I never even knew about Discord. Old Stabby got me in there, and that is like the best thing that's happened. But my point, and I know I'm going off on a million tangents, but the point is that I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of that stuff, because I enjoy it. And somebody said something the other day about, you know, just take my time and whatever, make, you know, videos just whenever I can or whatever. And I like making the videos. Like, this is the one thing in my life that's just like just for me on these books that I like, that I got nobody to nerd out with. And also like now I do have the people to nerd out with. So yeah, that's kind of the other motivation. And the reason why I brought that up is because I saw William jump in here, and I remembered that I saw a comment come through that I hadn't been able to respond to yet. So anyways, back to Hairlock versus Ythengar. Yeah, so that's why I would have loved to be able to come in and kind of do the tie break. But what I was going to say before was that he was already like a pretty gnarly mage in his own right before his deal with Kamenzad, because if you go back to like Path to Ascendancy, when they first... he was in the Odotarl mining camp, right? And like, I don't know if it was called Skull Cup then or whatever, but he got out basically with Wu. Well, I don't want to spoil all this, but the point being is that he had already done some pretty gnarly stuff to get locked up. Then he escapes. Then he like becomes part of the kind of mage class that helped the Empire form in the first place in Malaz City, and then he was like in the mage cadre as like basically a, you know, almost a high mage. He was definitely didn't show a lot of like deference and respect to Taishran and Tattersail and all that. So then he does his deal with Kamenzad. So I think, yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made. But I think that I think there's an argument to be made for Ythengar too, though, right? And people talk about a scrap with Tay, and that, you know, he could barely hold them off. I think that is... I think Taishran will really have, you know, there was extenuating circumstances, I guess, let's say. And so, yeah, it does. Trevor said that, oh yeah, Ruth Ann saying, I think the bias towards Hairlock is because of the visceral sense of fear. Yeah, totally. It was pretty awesome, especially like that whole moment in the apartment with Gear and like Ganos waking up basically, and kind of fending off Gear and Hairlock being scared of Ganos' sword, and Oppen being in the mix, and then their whole yeah, that was a tense set of scenes that was pretty dope. But yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Because Tattersail was struggling like before Ganos woke up. She was, you know, she was sweating. She was into some pretty. I wouldn't say her back was against the wall or that she was on the ropes, but he was giving her a run for her money for sure. And so just again towards the strength of Hairlock, I think that stick stare or whatever you want to call him, puppet marionette Hairlock is pretty gnarly, dude. All right, so let's go to the next one, which is like, honestly, I think this is like the whole question is who does Krupp get matched up against that's going to make it hard. Eventually, it's going to come down to some pretty gnarly ones, right? It's going to be like Krupp versus Taishran or Quick Ben or Seta Kuru Khan or something like that, or just Sin, or you know what I mean? And then it's going to be really hard. But look at poor Kafal. Look at this guy, 4th round matchup. And if you're in the chat right now and you're the one who voted for Kafal, stand up and be recognized, sir or madam, because that is pretty awesome and epic. 99% out of 174 votes. Kafal, yeah, I posted in the and I'm still trying to understand like what's the right thing to put in the Reddit versus, I don't want it to just be duplicative of what I put in the Facebook or the Discord. So, and Reddit's the one I least understand. But I put a thing saying that Kafal just got absolutely destroyed and to send the ambulance because he is just straight up down for the count. He's a Barghast. I love Kafal. Honestly, Kafal's story is sick and wish I got more. Because Kafal is awesome, but just, again, yeah, against Krupp, and I think Beastie is right that it's just like, you go up against Krupp, you're done. Yeah, definitely without, yeah, and so again, without Talmondes, but some people hate Krupp though. I was surprised he's one of my favorite characters, and I love him because he's like kind of he's unassuming. He's obviously super smart. He has that whole like act and facade, and I think part of it at least is an act where he pretends to be aloof and not paying attention, but actually masterminding and stuff like that. Same thing with Iskar Pust as well. But Krupp is not necessarily loved by everyone, because in that Malazan Facebook group, people are pretty adamantly anti-Krupp and some of the things about how like annoyed they are by him, which I was like really surprised because I thought he's like a genius character. I know, that's what I'm saying, K-Stan. I've seen people say how annoying he is. I'm really glad I found the Facebook group and the Reddit, but I'm also glad I have my own group where we can keep it civil and stuff like that, because the internet's also just like a terrible place in some cases, I've noticed. But all of our peeps are super legit, but yeah, and I think it all comes down to what Krupp's deal is, and I think that's a great point that Omi made earlier about so about Krupp being with down for Makra essentially, and able to kind of be the the mind game dude. I don't know though. And that is the best explanation I've ever heard about what happened with Kaladin Brood smashing him. He definitely could have just been a few feet away or whatever, and Makrid that out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he gets paired up against. Actually, here, let me bring this up because I think I'll still be in screen share mode. I have my little spreadsheet going here. This is like the ultra nerd thing that I did. So I started this spreadsheet and I put all the names, and this is actually where we did the draw from, and where I got the random number generator through Alexa. So you can see that's that. But then I put everybody down and put the draws, and then I filled in like what seed they were, what their draw was. I just assigned red and blue corners. I probably could have got fancier there, and then I went through and figured out, their Warren, where they originally hailed from, even if it wasn't like where they were when we saw them in the books. I tried to actually like go back. Actually, this would be like a cool little database. It's actually a pretty long list of mages. But then I used that and went into super nerd mode. Look at this. You can see this big old formula I used to create like a first draft sentence lead in. And then over here I came in and like dolled it up and added some more specific information because it didn't all work. These are the ones I already scheduled out, and then I still want to work on these other ones. I only did 7, so over the weekend sometime I'm going to have to like schedule a few more of the community tab posts to keep this going. But yeah, super nerd mode on that. But that's been pretty fun. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So I got to start next week. My whole point was that next week I got to start my this is my round 1 tab, and then I'll start with a round 2 and do the matchups there. I think I'll try and do Alexa again for the second round matchups, depending on who goes through. That way I can just like say that it's been totally impartial. But I think the moral of the story of this big long rant is that yeah, I think whoever draws Krupp in round 2 is hurting. Yeah, I know. So that's the other thing. I don't know. People have said, and I put this in my Discord too, accidentally like created a bot in my Discord beastie. But I like, people told me to start a Patreon, and I'm like not doing this channel to make money. I'm doing it to have fun, and nerd out on the books. But I like went on and looked at the Patreon and signed up and figured that like if I ever end up, and I think YouTube eventually, because I've like passed some threshold for the number of subscribers, that I think they're going to ultimately end up monetizing this channel eventually, at some point in the future. And I figured like if I do make any money off this, since it's just for fun, like I would love to animate or like find somebody on Fiverr, or like find like, Dejan Delic, or however you pronounce his name, and I don't want to butcher his name, but, or like, this guy Yolton's art on Reddit is also super dope, or drawing, or just like whoever, and commission like animations to animate the matchups, or like even awesome scenes like the Iskar Pust interactions with his wife, or like the first time meeting Mappo and Ikarium, or the Ten Scoury, with Whiskey Jack, or like the yeah, I don't know, but that would be like a cool way to use the money. I don't know why I went off on this tangent, but I just saw that that K-Stan talked about needing to animate this stuff. So I figured like if they're gonna give me free money just for making these videos, then what I'm gonna do is use it and pump it back into the channel. So on that front, I did set up the Patreon, and there's absolutely zero pressure to go over there, but it's there. And I also threw up like a couple of shirt designs on Teespring. So, but again, that will be the goal of how to use that that money. There would be, there's a lot of options. The other thing I want to do too, and if I got some money, because and I don't see Marcus up in here, but that I Am Electric Man Productions, who did that reading of the Tattersale quote about the Warrens of Magic, and I used that in my Warrens video that I did. Like, how cool would it be, like, at the beginning of every video, on the chapter by chapter summaries would be to, like, pay somebody on Fiverr, or pay somebody, like pay Marcus, or pay I Am Electric Man Productions to have his girlfriend read those quotes. I don't want to keep asking him to do it for free, like, did it out of the goodness of his heart or whatever, but, like, if we could get free money and pump it into that. So it's like, when we do this 3 chapters, we, like, maybe we read the Erickson poem at the beginning of those chapters. Maybe we, like, pick out a choice quote. That would be, like, a lot of fun, and a cool way to, like, use the money. It would be just to, like, pump it back into the channel and have, like, even doper videos. So that would be the ultimate dream. I don't know why I went off on that, but I just saw that K-Stan said animate, and that got me reminded of that. So you are under no obligation whatsoever, but that will be pretty fun one day to use Google's money to make super dope videos. Okay, and then last matchup of the week. So we started this on Monday. 5th matchup, we got Talmondes himself, right? Which we just saw his, I don't know if you call him his protege, or whatever. But Talmondes against Khaled. Khaled goes down early, too, right? So we don't see a lot of Khaled, and maybe that's why he goes down quick. I think, Tattersale respected him. He definitely covered her back in the siege of Pale, or in the Battle of Pale, and so he I think he maybe is a little bit underrated here. But this is actually the second. Is it the second? Yeah, it is. So actually, this is the second biggest margin of victory, behind Krupp's absolutely dominant, bludgeoning and actually just obliteration of poor Kafal. But Talmondes handily beats Khaled here, but I actually think Khaled could potentially be a little bit underrated. Tattersale respected him. I think that Tattersale hooked up with him, and she doesn't seem like the type, judging based on liking Ganos too, that just goes for a total pushover. He covered her ass big time in the Battle of Pale, even though he bought it ultimately. But I think that he was like, if you go back and read those early chapters, it seems like he was fighting off the friendly fire that had been, when Sale didn't realize that they were under friendly fire. Oh my god, I'm missing all this stuff. Yeah, exactly. Talmondes, though, he had access to a lot of juice, and so it just depends on when in the storyline you're picking him out. But yeah, he had all those Warrens, so I totally agree. I think that oh, cool. Yeah, see, so Shuriken is and I'm feeling this 30-second time lag, so I'm a little behind on the chat. But yeah, I totally agree, right? Wouldn't it be so awesome to have the poems be read, to have killer quotes to just slap in? Because, like, he says it better than I ever could, and I think that just having somebody who, get on Fiverr and use the $25 that Google sends me to, like, produce those things or whatever. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Actually, what I'll do, and if you guys want to join, and no pressure, again, I don't want to seem like totally shameless because I don't care, but it is just fun to nerd out in the Discord, is I'll make a channel for like favorite quotes or something like that, and then we can pop those in. So if I eventually do end up getting the money, then we'll kind of have a sense of which ones are like the popular ones to do it. Yeah, if you guys want to send poems, honestly, Marcus did, and they're the bomb, dude. I just feel bad asking him, to do readings and send them to me, but we could totally like crowdsource this. Like, again, this is just for fun. So, go to the Discord, and I'll make the channel after we get off here to collect like favorite quotes and stuff like that, favorite one-liners, favorite quotes, favorite beginning chapters. You can just put in there like Reaper's Gale chapter 17 or something like that if it's like the beginning one, and we'll just like start building that list. And me, the nerd that I am, I'll chuck them into a spreadsheet. So if Stabby wants to record some readings, let's do this. I'm totally down. What I don't want to do is like take advantage of people, which is why I stopped asking Marcus to do it, because again, I just don't want to like abuse his good nature of offering to do it. But yeah, like again, I'm in it for fun and for the nerdiness of it, and just like it's been a lot of fun. So totally. There is a link to the Discord. Actually, there's one in the description of this live chat. So yeah, yeah. I want to record. How cool would it be? So I know, and I'm getting totally sidetracked, but we're almost done with all the matchups anyway. To have somebody animate the directions from Iskar Pust to Mappo to the kitchen or to the library, and just have like somebody like make an animated map of like footsteps or something. They don't even have to put the character in there. That would be like hilarious. They could just make it like a room and like a walking path, or I don't know, somebody who was actually artistic could do that, and then like overlay the reading of the instructions, and then have like the Mappo part where he says, you mean like, or just like 10 steps to the left or whatever it is. That would be hilarious. So yeah, those are our squad goals, I think, for the what looks like the inevitable monetization at this point. So that's the thing. I'm just literally here, and I haven't looked in a long time if there's anybody still even on here besides you guys. But I'm having more fun with you guys than if I had 5,000 subscribers. Honestly, this is why I got into it. So if I do end up making the money, I'm just going to make it so that it's like actually more enjoyable. We'll like have a watch release where we, pay to, or not pay, but where we, sit here and review like the animated short, the 5-minute animated short that we paid somebody, to create for us out of this. I don't know what the rules are. I don't want to get in trouble, and I'm definitely not trying to take like food off of Erickson's plate or anything like that. So, and I don't want to get sued or anything. So I don't know I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, if there's ever any money there to spend. But yeah, it could be a lot of fun, and I already have like a whole list. Again, I'm like such a nerd, but I have like a spreadsheet with all these video ideas, and just yeah. So lot of fun. But getting back to the matchups, we have Khaled, who again, I think could have potentially ranked a little bit higher even, although I do think Talmondes should have taken it down. I think Khaled's a little bit underrated. So those are the 5 that we've had so far. If you tally up the votes, 128 votes on that one, 174 for Khaled or Kafal versus Krupp, 160 almost for Yathengar versus Hairlock, and then 201 for Tattersail versus the High Alchemist Baruch Anal. So, and then of course Badel is in there. Yeah, you're right, Ruthan. Yeah, exactly. His big claim to fame is getting annihilated. Excuse me. So yeah, and then we'll have Bedell, who's the youngest of the bunch, advancing on to the second round. I'm gonna let this go every single day. So I have 2 more scheduled already that will go up. One goes up tomorrow, and that is Shalar versus Hoke. And so Hoke, help me out. I'm struggling on that one, but that one should be pretty gnarly. But somebody, one of the two is very humble, and also, one of the two is super G'd up, and I'll let you interpret. I don't want to try and sway the results, but then on Sunday we'll have Hannon Mosag going up against Mulch, and then let's just do a quick preview of the next week's matchup. So we're on. That will get us through the first 7. Yeah, so then on Monday, we'll start with Mara versus Bottle, which that's going to be pretty, I don't know, that one's going to be pretty tough. I'm assuming Bottle's going to take it because everyone loves Bottle, myself included. He's probably like one of my favorite mages all time, just because, that... surviving Yucatan and kind of his role there, and just like with the I'm blanking out Scorpion's name. Come on, help me out. The Scorpions, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I love Bottle, and I'm sure he'll probably take it down. And actually, he was pretty I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I guess Mara's a walkover. Bottle's super duper powerful, so I think Bottle's a G. But Mara's pretty, I don't know. I always thought Mara was kind of a badass myself. So I know I know what you meant, Beastie. No worries. But yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think Raven's right that we will see Bottle knock this one completely out of the park. It'll be interesting to see if that goes up to the second highest margin of victory, though, on Monday. So I could speculate on that all day long, but that should be a good one. Then we have Lorik, who arguably shouldn't even be here, and then Sormo Enath. I don't know who you call on that one. Again, that's a pretty gnarly matchup for me. Lorik's got a couple Warrens. We know Sormo Enath is like one of the most. Well, he was like the embodiment, I guess, behind maybe Nil and Nether now, but Sormo Enath is. He was the top dog before that, right? So, that one's going to be a really tough one to call. Hopefully that one's close so I can cast a tiebreaker. I won't tell you for who. Ulara from the prequel, and I don't know if they ever said... I need to go back and look and see if Ulara is outed with a different name in the main 10 Book of the Fallen, or if we even see her. I think we do, and I'm just totally blanking out. But she's pretty gnarly, and she has a lot of for a blind girl. She's pretty gnarly, but then I think, Blues is more of, for me, he is a mage, but he's more of a fighter in my mind. I think, Blues will be one of the interesting ones, because what I'm going to do after this, and if I don't go on too long and scare everybody off, Joyful Union. Yes. Stabby. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. The Joyful Union, of course. but yeah, I think that I'm gonna do, because this was successful and we're getting like hundreds of people turning out voting for these, and it's been tons of fun every day. Is to do a best fighters or ultimate fighters, or like ultimate beastmaster of like we were coming up with names in the Discord too, but Blues will be one of the ones who does the crossover into that, and we'll make it so that the rule is no magic. But yeah, Rashed, what up, dog? Cool, man. Good to see you in here. Awesome. Yeah, it was just impromptu, so I didn't give a lot of heads up and notice, but whatever. It's still been super fun, and I'm glad you're here. So, but yeah, I think Blues will be one, and we can do that. And actually, I'm just trying to think up a name for the actual tournament for that one, which is why I haven't made the Discord channel for it yet. But once we get the Ultimate Fighters name picked out, whatever that ends up being, then I'll make the channel and we can start dumping in the names. I know we already got a bunch of names going in the main Discord, but we'll isolate it and segregate it over there. So that'll be a lot of fun. But Blues will also feature in that. We'll just make the rule that he has to go just straight up sticks only, and no magic. So that should be pretty fun. Wednesday will be Monarch Occam versus we got two super old school. We got a Bonecaster versus a Tistan D. Yeah, no, sorry, Rashed, that's my bad. I was supposed to be recording the 10 Very Big Books podcast tonight, and it got postponed, so I decided to live stream it, which is why I just did it randomly today. Yeah, so yeah, the sword of the series, or like first sword competition, Beastie. I like that. I could work with something like that, like the battle to become first sword of the Empire or something like that would be pretty badass. We could have like Grub in there against like Dasim Ultor, and get two first swords of the Empire going at it. That would be a ton of fun. Yeah, those are all good names, so I'm going to get those out of the chat from you, Ruthann. But yeah, I think that Enda Salon versus Monarch Occam is going to be a pretty badass matchup. And then on Thursday, that's going to be the one that really, is going to be super controversial, right? Because there's people who are hardcore, like no one can beat Raced if it isn't for the Azaf house, essentially, to people who say that Quick Ben's the most gnarly mage that's ever walked the planet. So I expect a lot of votes on this one because people feel very strongly. If you I want to get as many votes in on this as possible, but what I'm not doing now, again, and making the mistake of, is I'm not posting my own stuff in the Malazan Facebook group or the main Malazan Reddit anymore. If you guys do it, I won't hate on you for that, but I'm not going to do it myself anymore because I don't want to be super shameless that way. But it would be cool to get lots of votes, and that's my only motivation for it. I do not get anything if people click on the community tab. I swear to God, I'm not like in it for the self-serving aspect. Just the nerd in me wants to really see who actually, do people really think? And so, just getting as many votes as possible, because that one's going to be, people are going to be pissed. Let's be real, right? When Thursday comes around and most of the votes are in on Race versus Quick Ben, people are going to be pissed. So, yeah, it's going to be gnarly. Yeah, and I agree that Endis isn't like a big fighter, right? He's not going to go in for the throat right off the bat. So I think, raw power wise, that's what's interesting, because we didn't put a lot of parameters on this bracket, right? That it has to be raw power or fighting skill or whatever. It's like, it's kind of been left to interpretation. Like, if people want to put weight on raw power versus like being a straight up scrapper, that's what kind of is fun about it and makes it like more of a wild card, honestly, because people kind of do have that latitude to figure out. So uh, yeah, and then on Friday we'll have Silk versus Vorkin. I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. I know Vorkin's like a total badass, but I think like so is Silk, right? I mean, um, yeah. If you just went straight up technical, right? Like you got to think Vorkin's like a total badass from a mage standpoint and a straight up head of the Assassins Guild, like the most badass assassin in a guild of like what were pretty decent assassins, right? They weren't like Claw or Tistandi assassin mages, but they're decent. Especially Ralik Nam was all right, and that guy even um, Ralik Nam's boss, I forget his name. He was kind of a pain in the ass, but Ocelot is his name, and he was pretty decent too. So and she's obviously the top dog of that, so she's got to be pretty sick. But I feel like Silk's pretty decent. But yeah, I think probably I don't know. Yeah, Ken, what up, Ken? I didn't see you in there. I don't know if I missed you earlier, but yeah, I think that Silk could give her a run for her money. I just am curious how many Silk fans are out there, and I think that's what it'll all boil down to next Friday. So that's kind of the preview for next week. Oh, but then on Saturday and Sunday, I just want to preview these two really quick because on Saturday it is Acherones versus Gethel, and that one will be pretty gnarly. But the big one on Sunday is the showdown. Tay Shren versus Kimlock the Tano Spirit Walker. And I don't want to bias the results, but I think that one will be a fun one because, Kimlock's not a fighter, and conventional wisdom would say that Tay Shren should take it down. But keep in mind, this is Tay Shren, not Tren. And, Kimlock was supposed to be able to basically almost single-handedly hold off the Empire in the original Seven Cities campaign, right? And the only reason why he ultimately ended up like kind of relinquishing the city or just kind of taking the L, or giving the Empire the W, or however you want to characterize that. It was because he didn't want the Talon Imass unleashed on the city. So, but he actually could have like held him off. So, yes, I'm missing chat. I see. Let me go back over here. Yeah, I can see that working on another level. Yeah, Silk I think was in the ice stuff. K-Stan. The ice stuff is really good. I know that again, there's mixed feelings on that. I've seen some people say they hate it, some people like it. I think it reads easy for me, honestly. It's not. It doesn't feel like as deep or significant or whatever, but it's just really enjoyable and fun, and it fleshes out the story, and you get a lot of good history and backstory in there. So I definitely enjoyed it. I think that Knight of Knives, it's cool to see kind of that very beginnings of kind of what we all know and love from the main Book of the Fallen. So yeah, but yeah, I agree with Beastie, and I totally get what Rashid is saying too. That like they're not into fighting, but still he theoretically was supposed to be able to hold off on all those soldiers, just not the Talon Imass. But yeah, I think you gotta well, whatever. I don't want to bias it too much more than I already have, but that'll be a big fun one on Sunday. The I don't even know what date it is. It'll be like the 15th or the 16th or something like that. So, yeah, a lot of super cool matchups. I'll close this. I'll go back to the old Inception screen and see if I can't get back to my regular screen for the stream. And yeah, see if I can't bring up this chat and just get back to normal. So far, it's been super fun, man. We got 5 rounds in. We started on Monday. We've already had like a couple thousand votes if you count them all up individually. And so I would call this a great success. And I think, we will do the best fighters and then maybe like even down the road do like a most powerful gods, right? Like what if we square off elder gods against each other, or yeah, there's all kinds of cool possibilities. All good fodder for the Discord. If you come over there and join us, then we can chat about any of the fun contests and possibilities that we can do. And then yeah, I'm really excited to see where it all goes, and I'm just having a lot of fun. I got more Deadhouse Gates chapters coming back up, but yeah, think about doing some like crazy like Draconis versus somebody videos, or like a Grizzin Farl versus a Kaladin Brood, or seeing who would win between Animander Rake and Kaladin Brood, or get Male up in there and let him choke somebody out again. Yeah, that would be there's a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, getting Bug up in this mix. Getting Manservant up in the mix. Yeah, that'd be cool. Most powerful animal. We could do like how epic would it be if, again, getting back to the paid animation stuff of getting somebody to animate a mule versus mule, like, or a Krupp versus Iskar Pus joust, or a mule versus mule contest or something. That would be pretty badass. So, right, Grizzin Farl, dude. Did he? Yeah. So, that's like a whole video. See, like, I'm torn because I like doing the videos where we're keeping, encouraging people to get with the books, and I also just like have a personal mission of wanting to cover all 10 of the main series at least, but hopefully all of the like 26 books, just to be able to like leave my little legacy of like my Malazan guide, and then maybe we'll talk about other books eventually in a couple years. But yeah. But I want to do some of those videos that are like kind of those more obscure topics, like the Grizzin Farls, or do like a whole Draconis piece, or do like a I want to go super nerdy, right, and do like a Huss sword video, which, like, who would ever click on that? I would probably get like 5 views, and so. But I'm gonna start just making the ones that are fun for me. So, yeah, like do a original Kharkanas, I want to do a plead for Walk in Shadow video in hopes that somebody would send it to Erickson. Yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff that I have. I don't know if you guys. I'm just reading. Yeah, was I spoiling? Yeah, I probably was. I'm sorry. Um, but in regards to this Beak versus Ithkovian comment, there's a really good video that I saw a long time ago, but it was like on the think it was called like Pain and Suffering as a theme in Malazan Book of the Fallen or something like that. The guy only had like one video, but it was pretty interesting and just really well done. And Ruthan's comment reminded me of that. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of possibilities, but wait, what did I miss? I feel like I missed something in the chat. Let me scroll back up. I'm just double checking here. It is and empathy though, right? So that's like the flip side of the pain and suffering. And I know that we were going back and forth on this, and I totally empathize even with and I forget who it was in the Discord. I'm totally spacing it, but about Tavor being a terrible person, about Surly being a terrible person, and I think that there is like that. They were objectively, when you look at stuff that they did, right, that's like objectively terrible. Um, but also like the empathy that they showed and the suffering that they empathized with and tried to change at like tremendous personal cost and stuff too. It's just like that's why I love the series, right? Is because there is no right answer, even in these stupid made up mage brackets. Where we're like pitting people, made up people with made up powers in a made up contest for a made up championship ring, is that like there is no right answer, and it does get us thinking, and there's like all kinds of possibilities, and it's like thinking about just like deeper stuff too, and not like totally tropish like good versus evil, where it's like there's a black army and a white army that's good, and there's a fight to the death, and that's it. It's like everybody is somewhere on the spectrum of shades of gray, and I think that's why people like Game of Thrones, the show, and the Song of Ice and Fire books too, is because it gives like those gray characters where like you have people like Jaime Lannister who people start to empathize with later on, and like like Ruthann said with the crippled god with Kamenzad himself and all of that. So the compassion and stuff, and I think that that's what makes this series a grown up series. I don't think this is good for like 13-15 year olds, right? Like they're perfect for Mistborn and Wheel of Time, which I love and don't want to knock in any way, but this one is like thinking about real stuff, like hating your enemy, right? Like people who I think of like Tavor's like kind of empathizing with the people who like did who do bad stuff to your parents, or the person who like cheated on her and she, or I don't know, but not people that are easy to empathize with. And so I think that Rulad Senegar, right? So Calor, although even that Rashed, that somebody in the comments loved Calor, and they said that that's their favorite character, and they absolutely love everything about him. So even there is some of the shades of gray, and so ultimately just a ode to how good and grown up, and like getting you thinking again about real life issues. And so really really good stuff. And just somebody said, I think it was JP, and JP can't be here and Geo's not here, but talked about maybe even like getting Erickson on here to chat, and just kind of like I would just totally like fangirl out and go probably bonkers and stuff. But one day I think it'd be cool to get in get him in here if I could, and get his thoughts on these most powerful mage brackets and what you guys all thought. Maybe do like a reaction video to what he thinks about your guys voting. That would be a lot of fun, and also just to like, yeah, thank him for this, because it's like, again, pretty deep stuff. I still want to get through Black Company, and I know everybody says that, but yeah. See, in here it's like super unanimous. It seems like, I don't know if you're in that Facebook group, but there was like a great Calor, and I see you guys duking it out. But there was a great Calor meme. I think there might be like a Malazan meme channel. If anybody knows that, send it to me either in the Facebook or the Reddit or something. But it was on the bottom of one of those memes, and it looked like the Malazan Meme Corp or something like that. I wish I would have wrote it down. I missed it, but it was super funny. It was like, open the gates or something like that, and there was like people storming the castle, and then they were like, wait, the guy out there is Calor, and then the guy's like, close the gates. They're like, no, it's the Calor from Toll the Hounds. And then the cartoon said, open the gates a little bit. So yeah, I gotta find that meme channel. It was pretty. Oh yeah, maybe it was Dust of Memes. It might have been that. Yeah, Ken. That's what Stabby said too. That Black Company. She was looking for something on Black Company. Hood's one of your favorite gods. Mine too. Honestly, Hood is straight up G'd up. And what a guy, right? Especially now I'm reading like all the stuff with Bowden and Hood, and Bowden was totally a misunderstood character too. So yeah, no, I'm a big Hood fan, and I like that at the, I don't want to spoil everything, but the end with Hood and all of that stuff is really good. And also the Kharkanas stuff with Hood is really good too, and that helps you to really understand, and also makes a reread of the main Book of the Fallen stuff really fun too, is like knowing that backstory of Hood and why he like became he wasn't going out to become the god of death, right? He was there to wage war on death and to like stop time and all of that stuff. And so yeah, Hood's a badass. Yeah, spoilers. No, I appreciate having Calor in there for sure, because you need a Calor in a world like this, right? Who's like kind of the consequence of just these gods going at it, and playing this like 3-dimensional chess and whatever. It's like that's a byproduct, in the same way that I'm forgetting and I don't want to be super spoilery, but the Odotarl dragon's name, that's also kind of like an offshoot of like, that's like a consequence of the world. So yeah, I think if you read it, and I'm still trying to design a Hood's Balls shirt for that Teespring account. I ordered a bunch of my own Teespring shirts. I'll show them to you when they get here. But I'm trying to come up with a way to design like Hood's Balls, and I'm not artistic, but that would be a sick shirt. Um, yeah, Hood's the bomb. You gotta read the Path to Ascent, or not the Path, the Kharkanas. There's only two of them, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger. But I heard actually that, and maybe I'll go out and do some research tomorrow, and then I'll do a news update video on this. But I heard now that he has the first Witness book done, that he's actually gonna, before he goes to the second Witness, he might go back and finish Kharkanas. And so yeah, that's what I thought, Stabby. I thought getting the balls inside of like a hood, if I could get like a silhouette of like a hooded sweatshirt and then put two balls in there, that would be badass. Or like a ball sack. Yeah. So, um, yeah. I'm gonna that will be my mission for tomorrow too. Will also be to try and do the hoods balls shirt. So, but yeah, I will go and look into that too. About so that will be my two homework assignments from this live stream. Is that tomorrow I will look into if he's going to move back to walk in shadow now, and see if I can't find any clips and quotes on that. And I know a couple interviews have just recently come out. But then yeah, and horror ones I'll try and figure out how to put like Frost. See, now we're stretching the limits of my photoshopping skills, but I'll see what I can come up with on that. Those are all awesome ideas. So, but yeah, and then the other thing I'll do is to see about walk in shadow. So I think I don't know. Have I beat you guys into submission? This was a lot of fun. I see that some people jumped on later. Did I answer everybody's stuff? I was doing an all right job of staying on top of the chat. I missed William's stuff about the Imperial Warren being due to Calor essentially like decimating his own land and people and all of that stuff. Yeah, we got the face biting of Hood from Beastie. I covered that stuff. Oh, Grim. I didn't see Grim Wind up in here. Cool, man. Hey, but he said that, or she, that mentioned when Kroll finds what you're doing evil, got a problem. That reminds me that how much I really actually liked Kroll's stuff in Kharkanas too. And actually, they talk about, I don't know if it was in Kharkanas, maybe it was in the actual main Book of the Fallen. I don't remember, but how it used to be like both, or he could go back and forth between. No, I think it was in Kharkanas. We could like go back and forth between being a man and a woman, depending on what, and he'd spend like a couple thousand years as each and go back and forth. So, no, yeah, I did a good job on the. Let me go ahead and give myself the old pat on the back for staying on top of the chat. So, Grim, you gotta keep going. The Crimson Guard stuff, I do agree though. I do agree that the Crimson Guard stuff, I really enjoyed. I'm actually debating. So this is like the big debate, and actually let me know down in the other venues, Facebook or whatever. I'm thinking about going chronological on this and actually stopping after. So I'm thinking about finishing up Deadhouse Gates and then doing Memory of Ice because they're contemporaneous. But actually, I wish I would have done Memories of Ice first for those readers, because I do think that's best for people new coming to the series. Like, do Gardens of the Moon, stick with those same characters and go through Memory of Ice, and then expand the world and go back and do Deadhouse Gates and Coltane and all that stuff. Then it'll kind of link up at the end, right, when like Diker, has then moved over to Memory of Ice, which you already have then read by that point. But I'm thinking about going back and doing like Midnight Tides and Night of Knives first, and going actually chronologically. Actually, I'm now that I'm saying that, I don't want to do that, but no, I'm gonna stick to my suggested reading order and go that way. So, yeah, I think I will go. And if you look, I have that suggested reading order. But I think what I'm going to do is just go Memory of Ice, and then continue to progress through basically the main 10. And then I'll go back and do Esselmont's 5. And then I'll go back and do Kharkanas, then Path to Ascendancy, and then the Karsa stuff at the end, which hopefully will be done by the time I do that. So I think that's still pretty much the plan for now. So oh, Beastie's going through Return of the Crimson Guard for the third time. I love that, and I love Knight of Knives and the Iron Bars stuff, right? Like I kept, and actually when I did the Return of the Crimson Guard, I'm like, where's Bars at? Um, but yeah, so like that's a good question. That's why I think I'm just gonna do Knight of Knives at the end of the main 10. Because honestly, I think that's probably the way most people are gonna read it. They're not gonna go on and look at my stupid suggested reading order. They're probably gonna read the main 10 on Kindle and then go from there. So yeah, dude. Iron Bars, dude, come on. In the friggin' I'm spacing, but in Lether and the like with the Azath house and all of that, dude, like come on. And also, with the Storm Riders, dude, like Bars, when we do that eventual best fighters, Iron Bars, dude, is like freaking, and he actually like defers and says like how gnarly Blues and Cowl are and all of that stuff. So I don't know. I think he was selling himself short. I'm a huge Iron Bars uh, person. So, but yeah, dude. Yeah, he killed the Deavers, or the Divers. Somebody said is what I should call it. Um, yeah, the Treblor gods. I forgot about that. But in that actual like entry way or whatever in the courtyard of that like Azath house, he was putting in serious work, right? So, um, yeah, Bars is G'd up. So, um, oh, he tries to name, yeah, Greymane too. And that is another cool thing about the Path to Ascendancy. You get the whole Greymane backstory, dude. That's awesome. Actually, maybe I should. That's the other thing I'm gonna do is if I once this thing gets monetized, I'm gonna do a giveaway. Try to for the whole Path to Ascendancy, just to give that as like a 3 book. They're pretty awesome. Where are they? Yeah. These are these are nice and chunky, and awesome. Wait, let me get. Yeah, and I'll do like I'm not giving these ones away. These ones are mine. But how awesome would that be? Because dude, these are worth reading. I like these. This is like good stuff from Ice. So yeah, maybe we'll once we get monetized, that will be the next. I don't know how much money that is. Don't tell my wife; she's gonna get all pissed. But um, yeah, that will be a lot of fun because I just want to see people read those because they're bomb and legit. And then maybe if he ever writes the Walk in Shadow, I'll give away the Kharkanas set too because they're awesome, man. You guys are missing out if you haven't read them yet. So they're a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll be like 45-50 bucks. So I'll save up. She'll never know. So and then also what I want to do too is to oh yeah, the Bowl brothers, dude. That and oh, I should make a video on the Mott irregulars too. That's like another one that would be like purely just for me and for enjoyment, and people would actually probably like watch it because most people don't care about all the the shenanigans and all the like minor characters. But how dope would a Mott irregulars or like um or do some of the segment when some of those guys, gosh, and I'm spacing on the names, but the brothers who were from the Mott Irregulars who then went and like were traveling with the Trigil Trade Guild and all the stuff they did, that would make for some awesome fodder for some animated stuff. The other thing that I really want to animate, maybe this would be like the first thing that I would pay to animate, honestly, would be the flashback from Temper. This is what brought it up because Ken reminded me of Temper, but doing a whole video of the original Battle of Yucatan, not the bottle Yucatan, but the Decim Altar assassination Yucatan, where him and it's and I forget all the guys' names, but it's he's the first sword, and then they're all like named after like some aspect of metalworking, right? Like Temper and Forge and blah blah blah. I forget their names, but and then he's like surrounded by those guys, and he's going up against the like G'd up Seven Cities type, whatever that equivalent of what he would. That would be a sick ass animated thing to do, just like a 2, 3, 5 minute or something, and you'd have all of his like Temper for rule exactly. All those guys surrounding him, and then them just going at it like super gnarly, different styles, but just super G'd up. The other one, and now we're just in like straight up fantasy land, but what the hell? Let's go for it. Would be the original, and sorry if you guys haven't read Path to Ascendancy yet, but the original in Path to Ascendancy, and I don't think it's super spoilery, but you get some backstory on like Decim Altar's training that he does with Hood to become like as gnarly as he is with the sword, and you can do that like as a period, like as a progression montage of Decim just getting like more and more and more G'd up to the point where he can actually beat Hood's ass. That would be a 5 minute video. Yeah, that would, dude. The sky, yeah, okay. So maybe Ruthan is correct. Doing the Sky Keep battle narration with Skara, that would be pretty awesome too. See, that's the problem. So now we're gonna have to find a way to prioritize these because there's so many good ones, but. The cool part is that hopefully this channel just gets bigger and bigger, and we can just keep nerding out and coming up with cool ideas and making more awesome content that doesn't involve just staring at my face looking into a camera, and it can be just like actually a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to figure out how to not basically get sued and lose my house and all this stuff, and maybe we can find a way to finagle our way into Erickson's good graces, given that it's not for we're not trying to like profiteer off it, but rather channel the funds back into even better content. Again, I'm not trying to like take any money from him, but just to have some bitchin' stuff to watch. I just want to watch this stuff and like nobody's making the content. Believe me, you guys all know more about this stuff than me. I would love it if there was like a Nablus or somebody who like actually was an expert for Malazan, but there wasn't, so I figured I would just like kind of come nerd out on here. But the upshot is like if we do get monetized on this, then hopefully that will be the cool part. So, yeah, Silas Ruin. That would be, yeah. So it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of all the choices that we have to pursue. So, Yeah, it's gonna be good times. Um, I guess I should like end this, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it. You guys are still here, so oh, and I see Bob's up in the mix as well. Um, oh, somebody named their first son Dasim. That is pretty badass name. Um, props to that guy. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm done having kids, or they would have potentially gotten Malazan names. So my dogs that I have right now are both named um, after fantasy. So I have a German Shepherd who's kind of like wolfish looking, who's named Nymeria. I was in a big like ice and fire. Actually, that's the main reason why I got into Malazan. Actually, was because like 8 years ago, I guess my dog's like 8, 9 years old now. Um, yeah, 8, 9 years old, and I was waiting for the Dance with Dragons book to come out, and I was sick of waiting on books, and so I read. I think I told you guys last time. I like went and looked online, like what fantasy series are already done and epic in scope, and so yeah, I have Nymeria and Maester are my two dog names, but if I had dogs now, I'd be naming them like um, actually the one dog that I have, whose name is Maester from my Ice and Fire days, who's getting old now, but he would make like a perfect like Gear or Shan, um, or yeah, one of the Hounds of Shadow maybe, or like Bent or Roach even. Yeah, he could kind of easily be a Wiccan cattle dog too. So yeah. Um, well, maybe next time. So yeah, Rude. Oh, that would be a bitchin' dog name. So we just moved to the country. I'm a refugee from Los Angeles. We lived in Los Angeles for about 10 years, and we just moved out to the country. So we have 3 dogs and 12 chickens and rabbits and all kinds of stuff. So I'm pretty much cut off from more animals for now. Um, Yeah. So hopefully we could win. Hey, that's good to know. I'm appreciating actually the depth and complexity of the books. I would hope that that would be like what he wanted people to get out of the books. Honestly, is it's not just some like childish writing that he was doing. Like I think he wanted people. Obviously, it seems like he wanted people to be um, to be into that like kind of depth aspect, or else he wouldn't have wasted all the effort of throwing it in. I haven't read the Glenn Cook books. Um, hey, Mike's up in here. Thanks, dude. Good to see you. I saw your stream with Nablus the other day, for your finishing up the Wheel of Time. That was pretty awesome. So thanks for stopping by. It's been going good. But yeah, no, I haven't read the Black Company yet. I definitely want to do that once I get some kind of chapters chunked away on Deadhouse Gates. I'll feel a lot better about branching out more, both reading wise and just doing more like personal interest videos once I get through Memory of Ice. I think once I have Deadhouse Gates and Memory of Ice locked and loaded and on the channel, that will give people a big chunk to get through as they, because I want to get people into the books. And then I'll start doing more of like those kind of obscure ones that I talked about, where do the Mott irregulars, or do the whatever those random ones that I mentioned before were, and I have my whole list. But I think that's the kind of MO, and that's why I'm going to step it up to like 3 or 4 chapters per video. Try to, and I'm going to keep them logically grouped, obviously, but in hopes that I can get it going. so that I can like kind of move on to some of those ones that that are again just for me, and then in between doing some of the competitions. But Black Company is like, I literally cannot tell you how many people have recommended Black Company to me, and actually I looked up some art and stuff like that, and I think there was even like a Hounds of Shadow-esque looking element to it, and yeah. So, and I heard there's also like the kind of camaraderie aspect that comes with these like big, deep military, almost like a fantasy band of brothers kind of aspect to it. So, yeah, I'll definitely have to get on that soon. I just like bought all the hardback, or not hardback, but hard copy of all the books, because just to dial in the bookshelf, because like I said, I always read on Kindle. So I think if I'm trying to pick my battles, I don't want to order any more books for me, because then I can't kind of do the giveaways and stuff where I want to like get people into Path to Ascendancy or get them to read like Kharkanas. I don't know why it didn't sell good, or sell well, but it was a good book and both of them were awesome, and so hopefully get people into that stuff. So I'm trying to like pick my battles, but and then the other thing that I'm doing, just as a total kind of heads up, but and if you have any thoughts, go to the Discord again, is I'm starting to plan my Deadhouse Gates movie slash like TV trailer again. So I want to try and do that, and that would be like another thing, obviously, that I would really love to be able to pay to animate or whatever. Would be to do my casting video and do it like in some corny theme. Like this time I was thinking about, and I'm trying to search for like a MacGyver-ish kind of theme song, like an 80s um, 80s or 90s like action adventure kind of theme song that I could do my casting video to, and keep trying to change it up and maybe do like a Law and Order kind of one for Memories of Ice, but I'm still like trying to find ideas for that. So if you have them, let me know those too. But yeah, I Fellison as an Olsen twin. That one's gonna be fun to cast, honestly, because then the Deadhouse Gates one will be the first time. Well, I'll get to an opportunity to recast some of the people, because actually some of the comments that I got on the Guardians of the Moon, I liked other people's castings better than my own for some of them. But I also, in addition to getting the opportunity to recast a few critical people, I'll also get the opportunity to cast Icarium, Mappo Runt, Hiboric, who goes through a lot of the books, and there's a lot of fun characters in Deadhouse Gates to cast. So, and it's going to be hard to know where to draw the line. I guess it'll depend. It'll be governed by what kind of song I find and how long the song is and how many people I can mask out their body and turn into those like three-dimensional, so it's not just looking like a glorified slideshow, which is all it really was anyway. But at least I was able to do that like 3D photo motion thing to give the stock images some life. Oh no, don't trip. Krupp's, that one's set in stone. So that one will be 100%. But other than that, it'll be fun to try and doll that one up and find a new theme. If I already found as a backup a another 80s kind of sitcom-y type song that I can use if I need to. Yeah, and that's why I see you guys getting into it over Iskar Puss. I love my casting for Iskar Puss, which was Jim Carrey, and I think he would absolutely like crush it. But Rashad is absolutely right that he's Doll Han, but still, and I know this would be like super controversial, like Tropic Thunder-esque, but I still think we get Jim Carrey in there to play Iskar Plus. But those casting videos are fun, man. Just thinking about who you'd want to play, and I know you can never adapt the movie or adapt the books just straight up like verbatim page for page, but I'm still hopeful that people are hungry for 10 season stuff. I think honestly, if it's good and you throw a boatload of money at it. So like for me, and I've said this before, um, I think you do it storyline by storyline. I really do. I think you do a 10 episode season bridge burner story, 8 episode Crimson Guard thing, and then you do a 9 episode Talon Imass or Tistandi, where you start back in Kharkanas and you go all the way through to Namander Gullet. Yeah, I think that's how you do it, and you pick out like 5 or 6, and then you have an end season where you bring all the main characters from the the different seasons or mini series or however you do it into one big kind of like a sale slash like Chain of God or Crippled God season or 2 seasons maybe, and you just throw an F ton of money at it and don't even get, I do the casting videos, but I'm just doing those purely for fun. I think what you do is you do another Game of Thrones where you cast virtual unknowns and just let them take that ball and run with it. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that this channel blows up and we get Erickson on here and we get some money flowing in and he gives us permission to make animated bits and we get Dejan Delic in here to do the animation and we hire a company who can, and just freaking crowdsource the sickest content you've ever watched on YouTube. Wouldn't that be the dream? And like all these other people who aren't just like Mesla nerds like me will just like actually appreciate it for what it is. That is the bomb. So yeah, I really think like I got turned on to this, and the reason why I appreciate it is just because it's like a progression in my own personal development and character. Right? I started with the Wizard of Earthsea, I think, and that was like 20 something years ago. At this point, it and that's like tropish as it gets, but it was awesome back then, and it was wizards, and there was dragons, and it was like he was fighting like his own shadow, and he was going to the school, he was like an outcast, and then but yeah, it's awesome because now I'm like a grown up and I'm like into the gray and into these like big questions of what it means to be a good person, a right person, to do the right thing on what scale, what time scale are you thinking about, the scale of society, all of that stuff. And so yeah, and so I think that I guess I'm hopeful that we can kind of not be the catalyst, but at least maybe nudge some stuff in the right direction and freaking get it going. Wouldn't it be dope like 3-4 years from now to be like, oh my God, somebody's making something really cool and it's awesome and it's actually like happening. So yeah, that is kind of that's what I'm hoping for. Ultimately, selfishly, is so that I can have like some bitchin' content that somebody else is throwing up, or that we're all have somehow made happen together, and can sit back and just freaking enjoy and have like live stream parties where we all just watch the and are just pumped to be on it doing it. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. I see all the positive comments in there. Thank you so much. So, yeah, no, it's this tonight has been awesome. I'm actually kind of glad the 10 Very Big Books podcast got postponed so that I could be here chatting with you all. You guys are the best, and again, you guys know more I learned so much from you guys every video. You guys come through and you know, teach me stuff and hit me up in the Discord and on the Facebook and the Reddit, and are like hit me up with comments answering the questions that I had, or giving me your perspective, which is always like smarter and better and all of that stuff than mine. So just like for me, I've already like succeeded in terms of achieving the ultimate goal that was set out for me for creating this, and it's all because of you guys, and it's super awesome. So yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock now, and I guess I've gone on for days, but I just again really enjoyed it and really appreciate you all. This is again the one thing that's just for me, and as you can tell, how I just like go off on all these tangents and Babylon and you know, get sucked into all the little stuff that, you know, side conversations that you guys are all having. It's just because I so enjoy it and appreciate you all. So yeah, I think I will go ahead and leave this one here. I do have my 2 homework assignments of finding out what's going on with Walk in Shadow now, and trying to design my Hoods Balls t-shirt to get up on the Teespring for tomorrow. In addition to that, I'll also be putting up the Deadhouse Gates episode 4 on Sunday, and working on the thumbnail for that, and then we'll also kind of get into the rest of the books and try and power through that as we churn through the brackets. So again, thank you guys so much. You are the absolute bomb. I appreciate you all so much, and until Sunday, happy reading.